So just really excited to be here with my new colleagues and welcome Minister Clarke back into Cabinet as well, and happy to take any questions from you.
Some might read something into the geography. The political nerds here read something into the geography of these books. And you've elevated some people from what would normally be traditional safe 40 seats. Is this a sign you trying to safeguard some of the seats that normally you could count on for the election?
I think what I've done is chosen the best people for the jobs, and I just want to thank all of these individuals today for all the work that they have done in their previous roles, and now this is a new role for them. And so I think there's always that balance between urban and rural, and I think I think we do have that balance in this actually.
And Ms. Cox and Mr. Eichler, was that something about them not running again, or why were they dropping down?
I think it's it's always a challenge, right? I mean, but there always is renewal in cabinet, and so this is obviously what this is. And I think, as you can see, Minister Clarke is back in cabinet today, so members move in and out of cabinet with different shuffles, and so I don't think there's anything to read in there at all. I think they're wonderful individuals, and I thank them for the incredible work that they have done for the province of Manitoba. Thanks, Carol. I appreciate that, and I think we're welcoming Eileen back, which is a great sign. And again, I want to thank Kathy for the incredible work that she's done, and we'll continue to work together. I know Kathy's excited, and and working in different roles and that kind of thing. And so everyone in caucus will have a role as well moving forward. Yes, and certainly you can ask them, yourself, Jeff, but I have had the discussion with Grand Chiefs and President Chartrand and others as well, and I think Al is doing a great job out there, and he's going to continue in that role.
Is this a demotion for Mr. Fielding? He goes from finance to natural resources.
Yeah.
What prompted that?
It's not at all. I think what's so exciting is that this is sending a message that we want to work with Indigenous partners on moving forward and giving jobs and hope and opportunity for Indigenous Manitobans. And so I think in the areas of mining and forestry and oil and gas and potash, I mean, there's some really exciting initiatives moving forward. I know in mining we have dropped down significantly in that area. There's lots of opportunities there, and I think there's really that chance to have, in true reconciliation and giving jobs and hope and opportunity for Indigenous Manitobans. So it's going to be a really exciting portfolio, I think, for Minister Fielding.
What convinced you that long-term care deserves its own portfolio?
I think seniors and long-term care, I think obviously coming out of the pandemic, we've seen where it's been very challenging for seniors in Manitoba, and we need to start focusing and emphasizing in that. And so I'm just very pleased to welcome Minister Johnston to his new role in cabinet. So mandate letters, like what we've done is I've set out sort of at a high level what I expect ministers to do, and I'm obviously empowering ministers to do their job. So they will be working, consulting with Manitobans, listening to Manitobans, and working with their deputy ministers and their departments on developing their plan coming forward. So I want to hear from our ministers what their plans are, and then they'll come and present those to me and to cabinet and others, and it's just a different approach to things.
Why do you feel it was important to actually have a labor portfolio in that?
Yeah, I think it is very important, and that's why I know Minister Helwer will be in touch with those labour unions moving forward. I think we need to take a collaborative approach moving forward, and this is a step towards that in the right direction.
Do you see any conflict with Minister Helwer having labour and civil service both in the same?
No, I don't. I think that it's. I mean, to the extent that there are any conflicts, we'll recognize those and make sure that we address those. But no, I think that you know, Minister Helwer has had that role before with the civil service. And has chaired Public Sector Compensation Committee of Cabinet, so he'll continue to chair that as our new Labour Minister.
Just now in your speech, why did you feel that you needed kind of 3 health-related portfolios, if I can describe it that? Why is that important?
I think it's because we need them. You know, we've seen obviously through the pandemic that there is a need for more emphasis in healthcare. In the province, we had mental health and addictions before and wellness before. And then, you know, obviously we had health and seniors, but I think there needs to be more of a focus on seniors, more of an advocacy, which we've got here, Minister Johnston. And just really, I'm really excited to expand that, to ensure that, you know, we're doing everything that we can to, you know, get through this pandemic and move forward after it. Later this week, we will be making an announcement on surgical and diagnostic backlogs. The task force will come out and give an update, and so we're continuing to move forward on that front.
No more portfolio for crowns, nothing for legislative affairs. Can you explain the rationale?
Yeah, I think some of those responsibilities have been divvied out to different ministers, and I think, you know, certainly in the past there's been a lot of great work that's been done, and now I think it's back to the way things have been done before, and I think moving forward it gives an emphasis, a different emphasis on the ministers that are responsible for those individual areas. So I think it's something that was maybe being called for a little bit out there. I was in some of the feedback and the listening that we've been doing and to Manitobans, and that was some of the feedback that we got, that, you know, maybe it's best to put these back into individual portfolios. So justice, obviously, MPI, and Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries is with Minister Fielding, and Manitoba Hydro is with Finance. So. The task force, yeah. Yeah, stay tuned. I know you don't like me saying that, but.
Can you talk about Mr. Clarke coming back into the fold? Can you talk about anything about that? I know there's, you know, confidential discussions, but I just want to know about how it was that she was brought back to the cabinet.
Minister Clarke is one of the most capable individuals I've met in my life, and she is more than capable of doing this role. And I think this sends a message out there to municipalities about the importance moving forward. She's well respected in communities, and I think is just a great fit for this role.
Former finance minister is the finance minister. Why is he that?
So I think, you know, again, you know, Minister Friesen has the experience, the dedication. He understands things moving forward, and I think that this is a natural fit for him and a positive fit for us moving forward. I think he is ready to get on the ground running, and he knows what needs to be done. And so I think, you know, I'm looking forward to working with him as the new Minister of Finance. Sure. Who wants to come?
Thank you. Just a brief opening statement. Just wanted to express my appreciation to the Premier of Manitoba for appointing me to Cabinet. I am humbled, and I'm really looking forward to the challenge, and certainly am appreciative of the confidence that she has given me. This portfolio is truly an exciting portfolio. I think that, as the Premier had indicated in the questions that she answered, healthcare is certainly one of the priorities, or the priority, for our government, and we will go to great lengths to accommodate the needs and the safety of Manitobans. And by adding this portfolio, and particularly focusing on some senior initiative and some senior situations that exist, we really believe that going forward, we'll be able to enhance certainly our seniors and those who need long-term care. So it truly is a real opportunity, and I'm certainly appreciative to join my team, our team, to face the challenge.
What's the first action you're going to take to improve the crisis and long-term care?
Well, the first thing that I, as minister, will do is certainly fully understand exactly what the senior strategy is and how we're implementing the senior strategy, as well as also to familiarize myself with where Dr. Stefanson's recommendations, which we've adopted, where we are on those, and certainly do a follow-up with my department to ensure that we are fulfilling the initiatives that were laid out by that particular those recommendations. So those are the first two items that I intend to look into, and as well certainly have the discussion with my colleagues who have been in cabinet for some time and utilize their experience to help guide me.
What makes you suitable for this role now, in this time, in this crisis, in this place? What makes you the right person for the job?
Well, first and foremost, I am a senior. And I think that, you know, I say that in a little bit of jest, but it's true that in my particular time in my life, I'm going to be experiencing the things that many seniors are experiencing right now. So I can honestly say that I'll have a first-hand knowledge of not only the challenges in later year, but the challenges right now. There's a lot of seniors that are coming up the ladder and becoming seniors that also too have challenges. So there's a whole array of senior initiatives that I look forward to studying. Further to your question, my constituency of Assiniboia does have a very high demographic of seniors, and since I've been elected, and St. James Assiniboia, since I was elected to the legislature, I have had to deal with a number of situations arising from seniors' care. So I do feel fairly comfortable with taking on the challenge.
Is there we've heard calls for a seniors advocate to be brought into the government. Do you like that idea?
You know, I would let the Premier speak to that more. However, I am certainly appreciative and excited about the fact that she's recognized that seniors need an actual minister. You know, a seniors advocate is not in cabinet, and you know, a cabinet minister being able to indicate different seniors' concerns and different avenues to help is certainly, in my opinion, is far more beneficial than having an advocate. So the Premier certainly addressed that by actually appointing a minister. Okay, I'm going to just put my mask back on. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I'd just like to start with an opening statement. It is a tremendous honor to be able to serve Manitobans in this new capacity. I look forward to doing that. I know it's an important part of our government and certainly an important part of Manitoba's economy, tourism being one of them, and of course the sports, culture and heritage sectors in the province certainly play a vital role not only in our cultural makeup, but also in our economic outcomes for the province. So I just say it's a tremendous honor to be able to serve in this and continue to serve as an MLA for Lagimodiere. So thank the Premier for putting her trust in me to do this very important job.
Out of the pandemic, how do we build upon sports culture?
Right. Well, I know it's a good question, and I think that's something that as a new minister we'll have to sit down with my staff. I just got off the phone with my deputy about 20 minutes ago, looking to get a briefing right away and sit down with stakeholders and talk to them and see what they need. They certainly had a lot of support throughout COVID, and we're hopefully to continue supporting them as the health orders require. I'm sorry? Well, I mean, I'm not going to speculate what may or may not happen. I think that's going to be a decision made by public health, and certainly with the support of cabinet and caucus, but I'll leave that question to the folks in health. Well, we'll work on it. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully. That would be nice. But again, yeah, Manitoba Health will be the lead on that.
You can maybe just your resume in terms of sports and culture, or what do you like? What shows do you like to see? What sports do you play?
Well, playing sports is not really something I do much of right now. I had a background in as not an Olympic weightlifter. I didn't compete at the Olympics, but I did compete and represent Manitoba, I think it was 3 or 4 times at Western Canadian Championships. And so as a person who's been involved in amateur sport, I know very much what it's like to be an amateur athlete. It's difficult, and the challenges of not only competing in a sport, but also trying to raise enough money for your team and yourself to actually be somewhat competitive in Canada. Yes, I've been to the Folk Festival. And since being elected as MLA, I've tried to do my best to get to almost every single pavilion at Folkorama. I've been involved in a lot in the arts and cultural side. I was legislative assistant to the former Minister of Sport, Culture and Heritage, I believe since 2017. So I do have a background in that. Now I'm coming to the forefront as a minister here and looking to use that experience to only work on the good work that's been done by our former Minister, Kathy Cox. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Well, first I want to thank, I'm so excited to be part of Cabinet. Working with all our team, it's going to be exciting. I feel that with the transportation and infrastructure portfolio, it's exciting times because the fact is I think the way that we can grow the economy is invest in infrastructure and transportation. I think it's so vital that we get people back to work, and I really believe that it's part of our economic development, especially if it's rural or urban. It's so important, and I think there's opportunities for us to invest and strategically invest in the infrastructure to make this province, because it's a growing province, and we want to make sure that we're ready for the growth when it comes to our infrastructure.
There's been a lot of concern about private contractor services being contracted out and the level of service that Manitobans are getting. Are you going to be looking at the level of service in the valley?
Well, that's one thing I have to do now that I've just been an hour as a minister, is to talk with my staff and our stakeholders to see what is the best way to go forward when it comes to infrastructure and transportation, and how we can get our best value for what we spend our infrastructure money on. There are priorities because, again, if our city of Winnipeg is growing so rapidly, and we see what happened in Calgary and Edmonton, and they had to really gear up and invest into infrastructure to go with the growth of the population, and it's so important because the fact is, myself coming from rural Manitoba, I see a lot of rural highways that we have to improve, fix, but at the same time, we all end up in Winnipeg, and we need to make sure that our urban areas are safe for us to drive in, no matter where we are from the province of Manitoba.
What about Deputy Speaker? That was a role that you had come into, and what happens now?
Well, I have another colleague who has been appointed. I probably can't say right now, but at the same time, I really valued my opportunity to be part of, even actually acting as Speaker. It's such a valuable experience, and I really cherish that. But as a person, you need to grow all the time, and I feel this role is going to make me grow and learn more and help out Manitobans and what we need, what we deserve for our infrastructure and transportation.
We've heard a lot about what infrastructure industry and what that means, but transportation is part of this as well. So does that mean new responsibilities? Are we talking transit, trucking?
Well, yeah, on everything. So we're positioned very well when it comes to our center of North America. I've been doing a lot of work with North Dakota. I was on the International Peace Garden Board. The thing is, working with our relations in North Dakota, it's important that we look after our highways. We make sure that our transportation is proper so that we can compete with places like North Dakota, our neighbors, but also work with our neighbors to make sure that we have safe highways for our truck drivers, for visitors, and for our Manitobans in general.
You tweeted about having
All I can say, in my private member statement, all I can say was, if I wasn't vaccinated, it could have been a worse outcome. And the thing is, for myself, I had really no symptoms. My wife, my kids were all protected, and they didn't get, they were tested negative right after. So that's how important I believe in having the vaccine. Yeah.
I feel fantastic today. Thank you.
And so what, you left, we were told voluntarily last time. What prompted you to come back?
Well, a request from the Premier prompted me, and it was really rewarding to know that she had trust in my abilities, and I think her and I worked really well in my previous role and her previous role in families, for instance, with the Indigenous people of Manitoba. I really depended on her, and she depended on me. We communicated a lot, and the relationship was really good. So for Premier to invite me back into Cabinet was really a great day.
You had said before that you felt certain voices weren't being listened to around the Cabinet caucus table. Do you think, has that changed?
That changed 100% the day this Premier took office. We had a caucus meeting following, and the atmosphere in the room was totally different. It was rewarding just to be a part of it, to be there and know that we all had a voice, and that we were all going to be working as a team. And that's one of the reasons I accepted this appointment.
Being a minister can be, stressful, and it is a lot of work. You do say that you got your request to come back, but was there any hesitations on your part to?
Absolutely not. I never anticipated that opportunity would be there. When I resigned, I have no regrets to this day for my resignation. I did it for all the right reasons. But there was never, ever an expectancy that I would be welcomed back to the Cabinet table.
In municipal relations, what do you think your first priority is? I mean, is it restoring relationships, or what do you think is your...
Well, I have a very unique advantage here because I don't have to restore relationships. They already exist. And my relationship with municipalities goes back 16 years. And when I look at the opportunities that I have now going forward, when I think of my past 5 years working with the Indigenous people of Manitoba, it was simply amazing. They taught me so much about life. They taught me about living. I learned about their hardships, and we talked about a lot, but they probably taught me more than perhaps I did for them. So I go into this role in municipal relations, although it comes with experience, but that experience just no longer comes from the municipalities. It also comes from the Indigenous people of Manitoba. I can go out with a whole new feeling in my heart that will hopefully work once again. My first role in this government in 2016 was Minister of Indigenous and Municipal Relations. So I kind of feel like I've gone full circle, and that circle is now complete, and now the work really begins. So it's exciting.
One of the first things you might hear from the city of Winnipeg if I ask your boss this, she'll tell me it's 18. Somebody asked me, like more help. One of the first things you're going to hear about is where's the ambulance contract? City of Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. Can you help get that across the blue line?
Well, I haven't had that discussion with anyone at this point, like my colleagues. This is new on the job. But I will say, as Minister of Municipal back in 2016-17, I had a really good working relationship with Mayor Bowman, as well as all his other councillors and staff. I had a good relationship with all the major cities in this province, as well as the smallest municipalities. So I have no reservations. Whatever the issue is, we deal with it. And we deal with it by communicating. So looking forward to that.
Did you ever think you'd be in the vanguard of a moment in time when a caucus stood up to a premier and said, that's it, I'm out of here, I'm done?
Well, no, it wasn't. I can't say that it was a spur of the moment thing. It's something I would have never anticipated myself that I would ever do, because I always respect those who are in leadership roles. But my decision was probably building, and when the time came that I felt that it was absolutely in my best interest, the best interest of my family, and perhaps the best interest of Manitobans, that I resign, and I have no regrets.
Had the Premier asked you whether you were running again at that point, and did you indicate no?
Which Premier?
The former Premier, when you were...
Oh, no, no, I never had that discussion. No, no.
After your resignation, a lot of people in municipal circles and Indigenous circles spoke highly of you and the work you did. What did that mean? What did that mean?
It was humbling. I just expressed to someone this afternoon that I have literally hundreds and hundreds of emails that I haven't even read yet from all across Canada that were very, very positive. I would not have expected that kind of support, I guess you'd say, and it wouldn't have mattered to me whether I had that support from the greater population, but it does mean a lot. It also gives me a lot of confidence going forward, but it also shows me too the value of treating others respectfully, and that's always been a goal of mine. So, okay.
Sick of me already?
The feds have been talking about this new treatment portfolio, and I know it's very new, it's a recent announcement, but have you been able to determine how it might be distributed within the province and what kind of supply will we get?
I'm hoping to get as much in the way of supply as we possibly can. As I understand, it's not much right now, but we'll continue to try and procure as much as we possibly can. I think it's absolutely critical moving forward, and I know that Minister Helwer will continue to work with his federal counterparts to ensure that we get as much supply as we can.
And have you, again, I know it's early, but have you come up with a way to prioritize certain groups?
Yeah, I think we'll work with Shared Health on that, between government services and Shared Health. You know, we'll figure out a plan. I know that it's already in the works, I'm sure, but I just don't have that at my fingertips right now. So, yeah.
You were criticized, last week for saying that Manitobans should learn to live with this virus and Manitobans can take care of themselves. Do you stand by those comments?
So you'll recall last week that Dr. Atwell also said that this virus and Omicron is permeating throughout our community, that he said that likely everyone will be exposed to it. And so from that, I said that because of that, we're going to have to learn to live with this. It doesn't mean that we're advocating any responsibility, and we will continue to work, with Manitobans to get Manitobans through this. I would say that I regret the way it was reported, because it's certainly not at all what I meant. And I want Manitobans to know that we are here for them. We will work with them to ensure that we all get through this together. We all have our parts. Government has its role. Every individual has its role in this too, to ensure that we get to the other side of this. Yeah, so we'll continue to work with Shared Health. We have an incident command that meets pretty much daily, I would say, and they have those discussions there about what needs to happen.
But to bring the rate of hospitalization under control, we have to bring this spread under control as well. Is there any?
Well, and again, I have stated, and I'll state again, that we have among the the most stringent restrictions in the country. I know that, there's been other jurisdictions that have NHL that's still, NHL hockey that's still taking place in those jurisdictions. That's not happening in Manitoba. Some of the larger gatherings are not happening here, and that's where we know that the spread is. So we have reduced that, and we do have that. So, what I don't want to leave Manitobans with the impression that we haven't already taken those steps and you know, but we'll continue to listen and hear from Manitobans. I would suggest that it's indicative of Omicron and what's happening out there in the community. We are not, this is not unique to Manitoba, it's happening across the country in terms of, and we're all going through it at various different times. And so we'll continue to do this. I know that Saskatchewan was hit hard with the Delta variant, and they went through some challenging times. And, you know, our numbers are up as a result of Omicron. We will get through this. We will work with shared health. We will work with public health. We'll work with Manitobans to ensure that we do what we need to get to the other side of this. So what I want to see is more rapid tests for the province of Manitoba. I think that that will help businesses. It will help, you know, in our education system. It will help in our healthcare system. It will help in our, you know, basically across the board. And so the message that we have sent to the federal government, again, working in a collaborative way, is not a blame game. There is a shortage of them out there. There's no question. But we will continue to advocate on behalf of Manitobans to ensure we get as many of those here as possible.
As of now, are you satisfied with the level of restrictions that we have? You said last week, you know, we'll continue assessing. At this time, are you satisfied?
I think we're continuing to, you know, to assess the situation. You know, we get continuously updated on various modeling. What we've seen so far is, you know, with the modeling is that it really hasn't been accurate. And I know Dr. Atwell mentioned last week that they had to send the modeling back a couple of times because it was just so far removed from what reality is. And so we'll continue to look at the evidence and monitor that to ensure the safety of Manitobans. And I want to assure Manitobans, reassure Manitobans, we are in this together. We will be there for them. We will get to the other side of this. Thanks, everyone.